Good afternoon. My name is Amalia Delianis, and I'm the editor of Plumbing Engineer magazine. Welcome to another episode of PHCPPros Live. We are here today at the ASPE Convention and Expo, which is taking place at the Indiana Convention Center. My next guest this morning is Sarah Hires with Backflow Direct. How are you, Sarah?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, thank you so much. Sarah, can we start off, can you tell us a little bit about your role at Backflow Direct and what you do?
So I'm the regional channel manager. How it's divided up is we basically have someone covers the eastern half of the country and the west. I cover the eastern half of the country and just support our customers and the website and our backflow preventers, making sure people who maybe have an issue, all products will have occasionally product issues. They have that support so they can feel comfortable that the manufacturer standing by it. If you're not just buying it and then totally stuck with a product that might have a couple of, starter issues, I help with that and make sure you're just comfortable and confident that the product has manufacturer support.
Okay, why don't you tell us a little bit more about Backflow Direct, the company in and of itself.
So Backflow Direct is a really unique company in the backflow industry because it allows you to buy a backflow preventer online, whereas mostly you would need to buy traditionally through wholesale, and that's going to open it up to a whole different market of customers. But with that, you want to still feel like you have the support of the manufacturer. So we have a whole team that supports them in selling backflow products to anyone who wants to buy them.
Oh wow! And can you give our viewers a little history on what backflow preventers do, if they are not aware? Yeah,
so backflow preventers, most people aren't aware, they're on every building, every home. Codes require you have them because what they're doing is protecting the main water supply. So if you have any building that is accessing mainline water supply, once that goes into your, auto plant, if it goes into your home, if it goes into an industrial facility, even if it goes into irrigation line, they don't want that water flowing back into the main line because it could become contaminated. So it's protecting that water supply and keeping it just flowing one direction. All backflow preventers do is prevent that backflow of water.
Okay, so everyone has a backflow preventer in their home, correct?
Yes.
How is your product different?
So the Derringer is a large diameter backflow preventer. So on homes usually have a small one, there's not a large flow of water, but when you're talking about a building, you need a lot of water and a lot of water pressure. So large diameter devices are different, and they're able to accommodate that, supply a large flow of water, supply a whole building, and fire suppression systems, which are a big market for the Derringer.
Okay, so larger commercial structures, where are there specific structures that use the Derringer more than others, or just overall across the board?
So the Derringer is going to be designed originally for the fire protection market, so definitely that's where it's going to be most common. It's a great valve with its flow characteristics. In fire protection you need a lot of pressure, and anything in the line is going to cause pressure loss. So the Derringer is designed to have the least pressure loss of any backflow preventer. It's definitely most commonly going to be found in those, but we see them on irrigation systems, on large and small commercial systems as well. There's a lot of potable water use too, but the fire protection is by far the most common. Okay, so as you said, installations, fire protection systems, fire installation systems are the most prevalent for the, but you, as you mentioned, do a lot. Where would someone go buy your product? I think you briefly touched on it, the Derringer, a little bit, but could you reinforce that? Yes, so like all backflow preventers, you can buy through our wholesale partners. However, the Derringer is very unique that you can buy it directly at backflowdirect.com, and you can do that from your cell phone, from your home computer. You can call in and get support on that. But you can buy it on a credit card, so you don't have to have a credit already set up with someone to do that. And most of the devices can ship within 24 hours directly to your home. The website's really clear on if it's available. With supply chain as it is right now, sometimes one size might be out for a couple of days, but it's very clear this can ship 24 hours and it goes straight to your home, free shipping. So that's great in a time we're having supply chain issues.
Yeah, definitely. Can you provide the audience with a little bit of technical details about your Derringer product and what would motivate them or make it unique for their commercial building?
Yes, the Derringer product is a great innovation in the backflow market. It is the smallest, lightest backflow preventer, which is really important for installers because you sometimes have to, for these devices, have multiple teams doing it, multiple people installing them. So if you can have an individual install it, that's great. And some size you can do that. It's an all stainless steel body. It's available in 2-inch up to 8-inch, and it can come with your butterfly gate valves that have tamper switches already installed, which are really great for the fire protection market where they need to monitor the device, and also with OS and Y gate valves. It's got a really unique for the RP unit dual action combo check that actually the first check is going to have a poppet style for the first quarter and then swing for the last 3 quarters. So it's going to have the poppet style that keeps it from getting clogged like swing checks normally do, and then it'll swing out of the way for your flow characteristics. So it's really good at reducing pressure loss to as low as possible for a backflow preventer, which is what makes it great for the fire protection industry. The checks are also extremely easy to maintenance. You don't actually have to disarm them. You just have tower screws if you're needing to replace a disc, a rubber on there, because you want your backflow preventer to have maintenanceable parts, which this does, so that you don't have to buy a new device anytime one small thing's failed. You can really fix anything on it and keep these in your line for decades. They're the smallest, so they can also be retrofitted, but if it's fitting into a space that is larger, we do offer spools, so we can fit a space. You can just drop in, replace that, even if you previously had a much larger device. So those are some of the specifications that make it a really great fit for a lot of different customers.
So shorter, lighter,
and easy to work on.
and easier to work on.
And that pressure loss. It's not important for every customer, but for your fire protection contractors, it's extremely important. But it's a great valve used in domestic systems and irrigation as well, because at the end of the day, what it's doing is protecting the water supply, and it can do that over any application.
Okay, and then, so what sets the Derringer apart from the competition?
Definitely that lay length, that weight, that ease of maintenance is something that anyone who's worked on backflow preventers before can tell you is essential. Being able to work on it without having to worry about having one spring or clip get lost in the field, being able to just unscrew the tower screws, everything stays together. That's something that is unique to the valve and makes it just a home run. And being able to buy it direct, that is one of the most unique things about it. It is the only valve that you can buy directly on that website.
Oh wow! What can we expect? Is there anything new coming down the pipeline in the next year ahead, or?
Yeah, so Derringer isn't a new valve anymore. You know, it used to be kind of the new kid on the block, but it is becoming more widely accepted, and so you're seeing more and more installs, and going to continue to see more of them throughout the country. So be prepared to see the Derringer in more applications, and the manufacturers, we really are going to be pushing those out there for you.
Great. So if we're at the show today and we would like to come visit you, where's your booth?
I'm at booth 1133.
All right. And for those who are not here but would like some more information about the Derringer, where should they go, or how can they find out more information?
Yep, you can get information at backflowdirect.com.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time today, Sarah.
Absolutely. Thank
you.
you.
Have a great day.
Thanks.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Steve Smith, editor of PHC News Magazine, and welcome to ASPE Live. We're doing a series of interviews live at our booth here at ASPE Convention. And my guest today is Jerry Wright. Jerry Wright.
Yeah.
Jerry's the national sales manager for a company called the HAP Systems.
HAP System, correct.
And
Yep.
Jerry, I know it's only a 3-year-old company,
Yep.
so a little, new to the industry, which is
Yeah,
always good.
yeah.
But tell us a little bit more about the system.
So, HAP System stands for Hold and Protect. And that's where this comes into play. You got the pipe hanger and you've got the stud guard, all built in one product. And it's kind of interesting. We were chatting earlier about this, and where did this idea come from? I mean, people have come to the show here and they've been amazed at it. They've never seen this kind of product before. And Tom, who invented this product, was a plumber by trade. He got started in the business, and he was going through drilling through a 2-inch hole with a hole saw, and he envisioned this product with this clamp. So this product started with inside the wall, but it also can be outside the wall.
Yeah, okay.
So it can be mounted this way or inside the wall. And how it mounts is it simply snaps on the pipe.
Right.
So this material, I mean, the pretty blue color that it is, this is actually automotive grade powder coating. So it works with any type of pipe. It works with copper, with PVC, CPVC, PEX, cast iron, stainless steel, all of it. And it also works outdoors. So it's been a tremendous product.
So, again, inside the wall, it attaches to the studs.
Yes.
Pipe obviously is here,
Yep.
and it really does snap in. I should say, Jerry didn't have to go too far. His booth's right over here. So I was playing around this easily before, but the pipe snaps very easily here, and the whole thing is obviously just drilled in. And
Yeah.
like I said, outside too.
So-
And I know you're talking about above ceiling mounts,
Yeah,
so we'll get to that.
We'll talk about all that. So, as far as what this is made out of is spring steel, so you have flexibility with
Yeah.
it, and that's how it snaps into place.
Okay.
Size ranges, this goes from a 1/2 inch to 2 inch in the regular HAP hanger. We also have a version that's set at 90 degrees, so if you need to go inside a stud in the center or in the joist, you can use this. It also mounts on the outside. So we've got the B hangers.
Yeah.
Up to 2 inch, 1/2 inch to 2 inch. And then we also have large hangers that go 3, 4, and 6 inch. It comes with a supporting rod, and the reason for this is you want added security, especially on very heavy pipe. With this, you can have a capacity of up to 500 pounds with this particular pipe, and you can see it's offset from the wall, so the pipes never touch the wall. The same with this one. So you get that clearance with the pipes all the way up to 6.
Okay. Well, why don't we also include the overhead installation too, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the benefits and advantages
Sure.
of it.
So, the way that things are done today is with clevis hangers, and you got a lot of parts and pieces, and you're up on a ladder, you drop a screw or do something like that, it's a real problem. With this, you can see a 3/8 inch threaded rod. We have what's called a HAP bullet. It's a little nut that threads right on, comes with the screws, and you use the same HAP hangers. It accepts even the big ones. The big ones will also go on there. If you got 2 runs of pipe, you can put them right next to each other, as many as that you need, and you just anchor it in the ceiling, and you're able to suspend your pipe above your head.
Okay. So again, developed by a plumber, which we like to hear. That sounds great to me.
Yep.
And the whole, again, HAP, H-A-P, all uppercase, hold and protect.
Yes.
So again, there's plenty of ways to hold the pipe, but not necessarily to protect it, right? I mean, is that the big advantage to your system?
Correct. Yeah. So with the stud guard that comes with it, that's where the protection comes in. And depending upon the code, you may need every third stud to have the hanger in place. We also have the stud guard. And this stud guard, Steve had come over to our booth. You saw that where we tried something fun where we actually fired a 9mm bullet
Right.
at the hap hanger, and it just dented it. It didn't go through. I would think with the product that you see in the marketplace today that it would probably go through some of those stud guards, but with our studs and stud guards, it wouldn't go through.
I know at your booth you have a lot of good bullet points about saving X amount of time and all those good things. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about it? Why,
Sure.
if I'm a plumber contractor, why would I choose your system?
Well, you know, if you think about it today, Steve, the biggest thing is cost, not also in material, but in labor costs. Labor is going up in price. They're having trouble hiring people. With this product, it takes 7 seconds to attach this to the wall versus a minute or two for regular hangers. With this, we see a 40% time savings in labor costs, and that when you're in a big project, that's a lot of money that you're going to be saving.
Right. You have a good video as well at your booth where I think it's like 1 minute versus 5 minutes to do a simple job.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
And let's face it, money is important.
Exactly.
So for the plumber, you know, it's like I'm going very fast with this. Think of it in terms of extra profitability. Think of it in terms of you can do more jobs in the same amount of time. You can also have less plumbers that you need for a particular job. So the time saving using HAP system is going to be huge.
Right. And in terms of labor shortage too, I mean, I assume this is, I always hate to say easier to install, but even if I'm a new person to the industry, I guess there's maybe a smaller learning curve to use this, perhaps?
That's exactly right. The learning curve is very short in learning this as far as snapping it on. It also, the HAP system, because it is a system, it gives you consistent results every time. And part of the things that I've heard out there is, you know, the trades are always trying to fight for space inside the wall.
Right.
This sets it so that the pipe is going through a certain area that gives enough room for the electrical guy to come in and run wires. So it's a real plus overall for everybody.
So, where does someone buy this system then?
So today, we're a brand new company,
Right.
and we had to get established in the marketplace. We went in e-commerce. We're in Granger. We're at Home Depot. We're in Lowe's. Supplyhouse.com, which has really done very well for us.
Yeah, great company.
And we're out of the Chicago area, so we have a lot of plumbing distribution in the Chicago area, but we're looking for people across the country for distributors to pick us up. Here at the show, it's been very good for us. We've met a lot of reps. We've met a lot of specifiers that is helping us establish that goal of expanding our business across the country.
Right. And I just want to make sure everyone understands. I think they can pick it up from the diameters of the pipe that it can hold, but it's also residential and industrial and commercial.
Yep.
Although I think you've got some more product coming.
So,
we'll talk about that in a second. Hold that thought.
Yeah.
But where do you go from here? I mean, I know, we're at the ASPE show. I think if I have my facts right, they haven't had the show since 4 years ago, kind of COVID.
Yeah.
You've only been around for 3 years.
Yep.
So you're just getting started.
We're just getting started in this business, but we're also looking to develop more for the future, Steve.
Yep.
So we go up to 6-inch in size in our hangers. So we got residential, commercial, and industrial covered, but the industrial is also a section where we're looking to grow the business. So beyond the 6-inch size, we're looking to go to 8, 10, 12-inch pipe hangers.
Okay.
And, looking at steel industry or even warehouses that need to run whatever piping needs they would have. We're going to fill that need. But there's something even more important for the future. So the one thing that we've noticed, and I've heard it here at this show, is that Legionnaire's disease is a huge problem. We have a new product that's going to be coming out, we hope by this next show coming up in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, 2024.
2024.
Right. Okay.
That we have a product that we're calling Poseidon, which means God of Water.
Good name.
Yep. And so this is water management and control. So you think of it in terms of, is there leak detection? But not only leak detection, but through your phone, you'll have an app, or you can have it on your computer that would notify you if there's water running, excessive use. You would have the ability to shut off the water at the source in different zones. So we're talking about zones. You would compare it to something like an electrical panel. And it would be communicating through the HAP hanger because we'll have wireless communication going on. So we're seeing the future of this thing, saying water management is going to be very important because conservation of water, and this will be a big deal overall.
Good. Well, good luck with that.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see until Columbus.
Exactly. Yep.
So, this is your first ASPE show, of course, but what's been the reaction? You touched on some of it. What do people say when they see this system?
First of all, they've never seen anything quite like this, and they come to our booth. We show them how it works, and they do get pretty excited about it. We got a lot of specifiers that are saying, "Hey, this is something we need to look at."
Yeah.
And the big issue is time savings. So, time savings, holding and protecting. You don't want those pipes moving. This holds it very firm.
And you also mentioned too, you kind of just getting started with distribution. You've met a lot of independent reps, I am assuming, at this show as well. So you're hoping to build up a national independent rep force, I guess, to get into more wholesalers.
We're looking for those independent reps, and we've met a lot of good ones from the south, from the west. We're looking for people all over the country, and in Canada too. We had some people from Montreal come. So we're looking for reps that can help us in our goal of helping people hold and protect.
Well, that's good to hear. Now, if anyone hasn't been to the show, how would they get a hold of you? Website, email?
Yes,
what?
You can go to hapsystem.com.
HAPsystem.com. Okay.
Also, you can use holdandprotect.com, all one word.
Holdandprotect.com.
And we've got videos showing how the system works. There's instructional videos. We have tutorials. We have all sorts of things at our website.
All right, good. So it sounds like a lot of good education for contractors and engineers there as well.
Yep.
And if independent reps want to get a hold of you, they can probably do it through the website, contact easily, right?
Yep, that's true. Jerry at hapsystem.com.
There you go.
That's me.
Well, perfect. Well, good. It's always good to hear about a plumber inventing something. And it's I wish you the best of luck, and we'll look forward to seeing what you have for the water management system in 2 years of time.
Sounds good.
Good.
Sounds good, Steve.
Thanks
Thank you
again,
very
Jerry.
much. All righty.
Thank you.
You bet.
All right, everybody. We'll be back shortly after a quick break. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Steve Smith. I'm the editor of PHC News Magazine, and we're coming to you live from the ASPE convention, where we're doing a series of interviews with executives from the plumbing and heating industry. And my next guest is Tom Lentine. Tom is the Vice President of Sales for Vice President of Holby Valve. Right. Well, Tom, welcome. Thanks for coming.
Steve.
Now, Holby Valve, very well-known name. Been around 92 years, so close to a century. You guys are doing something right. What's the secret?
Well, it's really all about the product, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're blessed in that our valve has been around for so long, and we really have generations of plumbers that come to shows like this and tell us all about how many valves they've installed over the years. And it's just a very simple valve that's easy to service and easy to operate, and the guys love it. So I have a section valve I brought to the show. I'd like to show you
Let's take a look.
why it's so simple. This is our 1 1/4 valve. Just feel the weight of that. It's a piece of equipment.
It's heavy.
We go up to 4 inch, so this is a baby.
Okay.
But there's only 3 internal parts. So when you tell a plumber he's got to service the valve, you know, some of our competitors have 60 parts on their parts list. So this is the bonnet, and this is how we set the temperature on with this adjusting screw. So if you remove this, and there's 3 internal parts. There's a piston, spring, and this is the thermostat. It's a long thermal element. That's why our valves always have this long pipe nipple on it. And the thermostats are made in our facility in Newark, New Jersey. It's all made in the United States. And it's filled with an alcohol solution that's sealed at a specific temperature. And as the valve increases, you know, the thermostat senses an increase in temperature, the alcohol expands and this pin extends further. So when it's assembled, the pin is actually bottomed out in this adjusting screw, this countersunk. So as it extends, the pin doesn't move, the shell goes deeper into the valve and it pulls the piston. You can see the hot port there. As it heats up, it pulls the piston to close more of the hot, open more of the cold. And then it's just that little bit of movement that you can go from full hot to full cold. And that's that simple.
Simple, right.
So we like to say that, you know, even most people can count to 3, and there's only 3 internal parts.
Right.
And the beauty is, we've never really changed the design. We changed the material in 2014 for the low lead, but the same parts that we sell today fit in our original valves from the 1960s or older. So, you know, a picture's worth 1,000 words. I thought I'd bring that
So
up.
the valves you've shipped in the 60s, I guess, are the same as you sell today in a way. I mean, the materials have changed because of codes and
Dimensions and design is all the exact same.
Yeah. So I know you've got some old valves that have been in place for a long time. How about a good old valve story for us?
Well, I had a call this week from Hawaii. There's a sprout farmer out there, and sprouts have to be grown at a certain temperature, not grown, but watered at a certain temperature. So he said it's a pretty old valve. All of our valves have serial numbers on them. We know exactly when each one was sold. So I looked it up, and it's 36 years old. And he said we've never touched it before. But after 36 years, the thermostat's worn out, and we shipped them a new thermostat this week. We've got valves that have been in over 50 years. They're just so serviceable. People just maintain it by replacing the parts. We've got a quick story. I was called out to a job site in New York City, Battery Park City, near the ground zero there. And the engineers had just changed the boiler plant out, put in 6 high efficiency boilers, hot water heaters. And they were having trouble with the valves, so they called me down. And I looked at the installation, and while we're waiting for the temperatures to come back up, because they had lowered the temperatures, they're telling me the history of the building. And in the old days, there were 2 big boilers and 2 big storage tanks, and then they lasted about 15, 20 years, and they put in a couple other boilers, and now this was the 3rd set of hot water heaters. So we looked at our valve, checked the serial number. It was 35 years old.
Wow.
It was the original valve. We had outlasted 2 boiler plants.
Wow.
So I serviced it before we started up again, and sure enough, temperatures are wacky. I go and look at the recirc pump, because all of our valves are installed in hot water systems with recirculation. And the pump was plumbed backwards.
Wow.
So instead of pulling from the end of the mains, it was pushing out to the end, and the temperatures were crazy because of that. So here we are, our valves outlasted 2 boiler plants, and they're blaming us for the problems, but we always get blamed first.
Yeah.
And it's just a piping problem. It's not uncommon.
So, able to fix it easily enough, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
And I just want to make sure I understand. I mean, that valve you mentioned, I think 35 years,
Yeah.
2 boiler plants.
Right.
It's outlasted 2 boilers.
Yep.
That's the same kind of tempering valve as you were making
Yes.
back in the day.
These valves are master mixing valves, so they're blending hot water. Most hot water plants generate hot water 140 or above, which is too hot to send to the showers. So the master mixing valve goes at the source, unlike the point of use valve. And there's usually 1 or 2 in a building, but they're larger. We make up to a 4-inch valve. So the valve's installed in the boiler room, and if the recirculation is not piped properly, the valve will work okay for a couple weeks or a couple months, but eventually it's going to fail because it's overheating if it's not piped right.
Okay.
So that was part of the problem there. And we see a lot of jobs like that. Whether it's my valve or somebody else's, they're just piped wrong.
So, tempering valves built to last from the sound of it.
Oh,
But
yeah.
you must have some new products. I mean, you've been around for almost 100 years.
We do
you don't
come
just
out
make
with
one thing.
Every 90 years we roll out something
Every
new.
90 years,
so a
okay.
few years ago we came out with a wireless monitor. Our Holby valve is very dependable, but it's nice to know on your phone to get a message, if the valve starts going out of range. All of these mixing valves need to be serviced occasionally, and you can either wait until your customers complain, whether it's a hotel guest or somebody in a hospital, nursing home, whatever the building is. But with a monitor, you can know 24/7 what your
You get
temperatures
notifications
are.
if
Right.
I'm a plumber or a
Yep.
property manager.
So that's what we rolled out a few years ago, just before COVID, and we're starting to make some progress with that.
Good. Okay.
Yep.
And that was introduced, what, you said 5 years ago? Or?
No, probably just before COVID.
Oh, okay.
Actually,
So the-
2019, I think.
Okay. So, very,
Yep.
very new.
Yep, starting to get spec'd.
Good.
And
Okay.
we're looking forward to
So,
seeing more
speaking
progress
of
with that.
COVID, I hate to bring it up, but I mean, how did the pandemic affect Holby Valve?
Well, unfortunately, when you're in manufacturing, you can't work remote.
You can't work remote.
Yeah.
No.
So we shut down for a week or two,
Uh-huh.
and then we started rotating people in. 'Cause we're a pretty small operation.
Yeah.
And we had some challenges with manpower and of course the supply chain issues, so some of our lead times bumped up a little bit. We're known for having everything in stock all the time. So during those times when supply chains problems were around, we had a couple weeks lead time, maybe a couple months on some of the products, but now we're back up to full stock on everything, so it's great.
Business is
Yep.
normal as it can be.
Yep, we have over 30 reps across the country, so they love to call, and we ship the same day.
Good.
It's all pretty good.
So you got one rookie product and one 90-year-old product.
Yeah.
Anything else coming down the pipe?
We do have, it's kind of an accessory, since the valve is so simple, why wouldn't you have spare parts in the boiler room or in a box? So we have a little all parts box that you can mount on the wall.
Okay.
And
So
because if you have a hot water problem, the owner's going to call a plumber. The plumber will come and tell you need new Holby parts, and he's
Right.
got to leave and come back. So
Right.
if you know you have a 4-inch Holby, have the parts
have
there.
the parts right there.
And then save some time and pain when it needs to be serviced.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Although it probably doesn't need to be serviced for the sound of your
very often.
lifespan of all these things.
Not very often, no.
That parts is going to get kind of covered with dust in
There-
another 30
that's-
years.
that's fine.
But then you need it. You
When
got it.
you need it, you got it. Exactly.
Well, very good. Well, anything else we can talk about with Holby? What else is happening with the company? You must be
well-
celebrating something. I know it's well, 8 more years for our 100th anniversary, but you got to have something.
we're counting down.
Got to be thinking about that.
We're trying to do a little more with the social media. You know, it's enough of a shock that this old product is now, part of the Internet of Things. With that wireless monitor, can be on the internet. But we're also launching a new page on our website that will promote through LinkedIn and social media. I mentioned the piping issues that we find all the time, so we'll have a piping diagram showing the bad installation or the existing installation,
Right.
and kind of a challenge to the design engineers and the plumbers, because these guys love to look at somebody else's work and see what's wrong with it.
Yeah, critique it. Yeah.
And then it'll be, you click a link and it'll take you to our website where there'll be the before and after schematic. So
okay.
just a little something to generate more interest and keep our
Helpful
our posts.
information.
Oh,
just
absolutely.
a couple of clicks away,
Yep.
so easily found, I guess. Yeah.
Yep. That's
Perfect.
the plan.
Well, good.
Yep.
Well, Tom, I mean, thanks for coming.
Oh, thanks for having me.
And I appreciate it. And 8 more years, I'm going to write your 100th anniversary story.
Yeah,
I
that'd be
guess.
great.
Huh? All right, I'll still be around.
Okay. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks again. All right, we're going to take a little bit of a break, and we'll be back for more. everybody. My name is Steve Smith, editor of PHC News Magazine. Welcome back to PHCPPros Live. We're doing a series of interviews at the ASPE convention right from our booth. And my next guest is Wade A. Tennant, Director of Marketing for Legend Valve. Wade, thanks for coming on board here today.
Steve, thanks
Wade,
for having me.
We were talking beforehand, I haven't seen you. Brad and I probably visited you in 2019. I think you're fairly new then.
Sure.
Now, a lot's changed since 2019.
Oh my goodness.
Pandemic, COVID, how's it all affected Legend?
Well, first and foremost, coming through the pandemic, we're doing exceptionally well, right? But just like everybody in the industry, we've had our challenges, right? So as per the last time you were out to visit us, we were just starting some major some investments for our technologies, and they've assisted us in pulling us through. But before we get into that, the pandemic specifically, right? So what happened during that period of time? Well, supply chain constraints have been massive to us, right? They put tremendous amount of pressure on both our inbound call, right, for the customer service side, as well as dealing with our suppliers, right? So many of our products come from overseas, and just trying to get those booked, get them on shipping containers, looking at the cost constraints of shipping containers. There were a number of instances where containers got out of line for costs, and we lost bids on them because we weren't willing to take them.
Hold your thought right there.
Patrick Brawley with Haskell. Patrick Brawley, please head to the ASPE Pavilion in booth 621 to claim your prize. And as a reminder, you must be present to win.
All right. You were saying you
Yeah.
lost some sales due to
No, not-
increases in prices?
No, not at all. No, we didn't necessarily lose. That was on the shipping inbound, right? So getting containers from overseas, right? Costs went from $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 per 40-foot container to 25,000, right? And there were some bids that were larger than we were willing to pay, right? So shipping got backed up, as it did for everybody. And of course, then we've got to deal with the inbound trucking and delivery, right? Once it reached our shores. So like everybody, we've had to deal with that. And that's put an immense amount of pressure on our supply chain team, and just trying to work with so that everything doesn't arrive at once.
Right.
And so that's, based on some investments we'd made beforehand, we had expanded the facility in Auburn Hills, right, which has allowed us to put a more receivables dock in place. It's been accommodating to that, which has been, again, part of a smart investment for us beforehand, not knowing what was going to happen, right? And of course, then our customer service team has taken a tremendous amount of inbound calling around back orders, right? Because of the supply chain constraints. We've, for the first time in our existence, really had to deal with being out of certain product lines, which is not something we're known for. Legend and Valve has always been, hey, we're overstocked. We've always got what you need, right? Everything you need behind the wall, we've got it. So that's been a challenge for us, where we've just had a lot of outbound calling based around customers finding out, hey, where are our items, so on and so forth, right? So that's been a challenge for us. And again, if you know about Legend, our performance guarantees, and I'll cover those a little bit later in our conversation as well, but keeping up to speed, our performance guarantees are all about how we actually perform in the market with the 100% order accuracy, 100% fulfillment. And that for the first time has been a challenge for us, because we're typically not, so we potentially had to step up and pay on some of our, pay a 5% discount on the fact that we had to back order items. It's been but we've come through it, and right now we're starting to see a light at the end of the tunnel.
I was going to ask you.
Correct. Yeah.
I mean, have some of the price increases at least plateaued? Have they gone down?
So
are you able to get shipping containers?
So the answer is yes.
In a
so
logical format.
So we're still seeing potentially a 6 or 7 month lag, right? But we're starting to finally catch up for a number of our product line categories, which is good. I think everybody's starting to see that in general, which is positive. Yes, on the price increases, and of course, like everybody, we're concerned about tariffs and how that plays into it. But and that's out of our control at this point in time.
Again, Patrick Brawley with Haskell, please make your way to the ASPE Pavilion in booth 621 to claim your prize.
Hope he gets that prize. You wwere saying.
So in talking about the relative price of things are still kind of high relative to long-term averages. So, that's potentially going to be the next wave. We'll see some discounting occurring potentially. But as I said, 6 to 7 months, we still see a little bit of a challenge.
Okay. Now, you mentioned briefly the performance guarantee, the Legends.
Sure.
Tell us a little more about
So,
that.
so Legends had a performance guarantee. So we've had the 525 for almost 30 years, right? So that was an industry trend-setting guarantee that we put in place. So and it was relative to our valve products at the time only, right? So we would warrant that there were going to be no defects of an installed valve for the course of over the course of 5 years from date of purchase,
Right.
And if there was, we'd pay the contractor who had to deal with the callback $25. Now that was 30 years ago. So fast forward now to 2022, we realize that's a little dated now, right? And so back to our performance guarantees, we decided we got to jump in the game and up it. And so we're in the process right now of revamping it. There's going to a bunch of new communications will be coming out in the next couple of weeks around that. But we're going to be doing a 775 guarantee.
Okay.
And in turn, that's going to cover all of our products. So it's not just going to be valves anymore. We figured that's a little bit more of a impetus for contractors using our products, wholesalers purchasing from us, and realizing, we're still going to back everything we sell.
So 7 years, $75.
Correct. Yeah.
For all your products.
For all our products, right? Again, based on a callback, right? So if there's an actual issue with it, right, and there's a default or something along those lines, we'll be investigative and we'll take care of it. Yeah. Something new, something big, something bold.
When that is new? When did you introduce it?
So, as part of this conversation, right?
Yeah,
So
okay.
it's just rolling out. So everyone will be hearing about it as we're having this conversation. Whoever's queuing into the live
that's definitely
feed,
new.
right? And then we have some new other communications coming out in the next couple of weeks. Along
All right, very good. We'll keep in touch with
very
that.
new. Yeah.
So, you also mentioned some investments in technology.
Sure.
That I guess maybe helped you weather the storm that
Well,
you didn't know was coming necessarily
Absolutely.
either. So tell me about that.
So let me start with, so Legends always continuously to evaluate what sort of technologies we need to be investing in, right? And we've always been on the innovative side, trying to look at products and or services that are going to fit that. So the 775 fits into that service category where, hey, look, it's time to reinvest. It's time to do something new, something bold. The actual technological investments, we decided to look at cobots back in the 2019 timeframe. We've been looking at it for a number of years, but in 2019 we really engaged with a company called Six Rivers, and so the cobot technology for us was in the warehouse, right? And we had no idea the pandemic was going to hit, just like anyone else. But oh my goodness, what a benefit it was to have made the decision at the time we did, because we integrated them starting at the end of 2019 right into 2020. So they were operational for the first couple of months before the pandemic hit. So as we were starting to go through the whole challenge that everyone was facing about staff off-site and not able to compete and the employment constraints that occurred, we've got these cobots that are helping us backfill the capabilities. So we're putting less wear and tear on our people, right? We quadrupled our the lines of coverage in the warehouse. Quadrupled the number of POs our people could process.
So you could do more with the
We could do
cobots.
more with so much less, right? And it wasn't about having less. It was just that at the time that was occurring, it was a really good fit. And as we continue to go through the supply chain constraints, the cobots have more than paid for themselves in investment, right? So we have I wouldn't say we have an army, but we have a plethora of them. And what it's done is it's also reduced the wear and tear on the employee side. So they're very employee friendly. When you're working in the operational side of the warehouse, there's a lot of mileage walked every day, pushing carts around. And so what the cobots have done is taken that away, right? Which is a huge benefit to them. So they're far more engaged as well, because they're not being worn down. They're not exhausted by the end of the day, which is just a really smart investment. And again, we had no idea. We were doing it for the right reasons, and then timing was just
Timing worked out
timing was really good.
perfect.
In conjunction with that, we also invested in box packaging technology as part of that, right? So basically, every SKU we have in our warehouse is measured out with a weight and dimensional size, right? And so if you understand how our business goes to market and the service operational side we offer, you can pretty much get anything you want, right? And up to a certain amount covered under FFA for freight. And so we have all kinds of different combinations of purchase orders coming inbound that have different items on them. And what we were able to do with the box packaging side was create literally customized packaging that made not only sense for us, but also for our major vendor in shipping, which is in this instance is FedEx, right? And so we just suddenly reduced the exposure and size of our overall packaging by making these customized boxes. And I think the box packaging system can make over 1,000 configurations of packaging for our products. In conjunction with the cobots, oh my goodness, right? Now you can, so you're limiting how they're being utilized in the warehouse. We're not limiting, we're expanding if anything, right? Yeah, that's been a really, again, operationally speaking, huge decisions were made.
Much more efficient.
Oh my goodness.
No doubt about it.
Totally. And again, it's so much easier for FedEx. Yes.
Now, you mentioned before we hit live that a lot of the material handling equipment is electric now.
Correct. So we just replaced our last piece of equipment, I believe this summer. It was still using a fossil fuel based. I think it was natural gas, and so now it's all electric in the warehouse, which is great. You know, and the cobots they're electric as well, so they get plugged in at the end of the day.
Are we talking forklifts or something?
Yep, forklifts. Yep, all our high-lows. Yep, they're all battery charged now. So yeah, it's just less. There's no real exhaust in the warehouse anymore.
Right.
So just again, positive benefit to the employees as well. You know, there's another component as well on the technology investment side. Right? So that's in some artificial intelligence we've placed. Now it's software, so it's intuitive type software. We instituted that a couple of years ago. So before COVID hit, but that's been a huge benefit to us as well. So when I say it's artificial intelligence, basically what it is it's a learning tool where it allows itself to understand inbound orders coming from different customers. You know, so back to some customers might still write stuff on a napkin. Potentially, it could read that capability and put it into a standardized purchase order mechanism, and then our team basically just has to validate that was correct, right? As opposed to having to input it as well.
Yes.
Right. So that tech has been.
And our new winner of the Apple HomePod Mini is Dan Perkins with Daybreak Technologies. Dan Perkins, please head to the ASPE Pavilion in booth 621 to claim your prize. And as a reminder, for those participating in the next prize drawing at 2:20, you must be present in the exhibit hall to win.
So you were saying more about
the
AI.
So the AI, and so what that has allowed us to do is just become far more accurate, right? Again, our team on the customer service side is investing their time now in evaluating and verifying that the orders are correct, as opposed to putting stuff in and then having to do that. So it's reduced that wear and tear as well. And then, our customers are getting more. It's just becoming far more efficient. Right? So that was another piece of tech that we'd invested in over the last couple of years. And altogether, that's really positioned us well. I've performed to Legend's traditional standard, but we've kept an extremely high rate of fulfillment still relative to a lot of our competition. So people were coming to us because they needed stuff, right? And their vendors were falling down, same concerns they had, same constraints, supply chain couldn't do it, and Legend could, right? It's really, it's been, and so we're finally getting back up to where we need to be on the fulfillment side.
Well, great to hear. So, listen, it's midway through September. Everybody knows it's been a tough year for the economy, the stock market, your investments, you name it. What do you see happening in the economy?
Well, so,
what's the forecast?
you know, we haven't seen any general slowdown yet, which is a positive, right? And we don't think there's going to be. Now, there is definitely going to be some fall off here and there. We know that residential construction, which is a big market focus for us, is going to go through what you might call a hiccup, right? Mortgage rates are very high right now. Originations are very low. Second loans, home equity loans, just originations are really down right now. We know that. I mean, that's a reality. Prices got a little too frothy, so we're going to see a little bleed off in that. We believe that. But here, let's not kid ourselves. As an industry in North America, we've underbuilt for the last 10 years, more than 10 years, right? And we're not going to see anything near what we saw in 07, 09, where new construction fell off a cliff. That's not going to happen. Multifamily is still going to continue to be strong, and we're a solid supporter. We're right in the middle there. So we're not anticipating a big fall off. And again, back to how Legend performs. Legend's likely and has in the past performed quite well because of that. Again, that business model where everything you need behind the wall, the service guarantees, we'll get you what you need when you need it, kind of thing. You know, that's been our approach all along, and it's a service approach. Yeah,
good.
So we don't really see any major hiccup, and if there is, it's something no one's able to kind of figure out.
Can't predict everything, but it sounds like a upbeat forecast at least.
It is correct, and again, that's So we typically do when other businesses start to see the real fall off. We typically do better because, again, back to our performance guarantees, which there's the 100% order fulfillment rate, the 100% accuracy. Well, we also have the capabilities of, you need one item, You can break cartons. We're not going to charge you for that. It's not something we do. You get more than you need, you can send it back to us. We'll take it back, right? I mean, it's the kind of stuff that Legend does. That is our service orientation. We will continue to do that. And so what happens is we outperform the market.
Right.
And that's typically what occurs, and we don't see that changing.
Perfect. Well, what do you see in store for Legend?
So as we covered technologies, we've covered what's happening in the market, we've covered what's going on with the pandemic, the future for Legend. So we're going to continue to invest where it makes sense to support our customers, right? So different technologies, different product categories. So we're going to continue with our HyperPure tube, right? So we've had a fair amount of investment there in adding new manufacturing capacity, right? And we'll continue to be reviewing that as we go along. As I mentioned, we had also expanded the initial warehouse in Auburn Hills back in 2018, right? So that was a nice piece of investment there. So that's allowed us to expand the capabilities to actually inventory more pipe, so it's readily available, right? So that's one, as well as going after the product categories that are most highly sought after right now. So there's a lot in the press technology space, right? So we're investing there. There's a lot in the PEX and PERT fitting systems, right? Like cold expansion and cinch, right? So we're continuing to expand in those product categories and offering a selection of components that work for our customers. What else are we doing? So we have smart click push technology, right? So we've invested there, and that continues to be, again, in a time of labor constraints, this is where we want products like that, right? Where they make sense, they're smart, they're quick, and they may be a couple dollars more, not dollars, they might be a couple more percentage higher in cost, but you don't need the tools to use them, right? You don't need the major investments. They're a lot easier and quicker, especially when you're dealing with employment issues, right? Where you don't have enough labor to get your projects done. These are the smart investments for us to make, and they're going to benefit all of our customers as well as contractors down the road.
Good. Well, anything else?
Boy, that's an awful lot we've covered, right? We've come
We
through
have
the
covered a lot.
pandemic very well.
Right.
And it's been a challenge, and don't get me wrong, we've gone through a tremendous amount of change internal. We've grown during the pandemic, which has been a challenge. We have a number of new employees now. And again, back to some of those investments we made, it's benefited us in bringing new employees on where the training ramp-up time has been reduced because we have new tech investments that help us communicate better with them and assist them in learning quicker. It's been,
Well, good.
It's been very good.
Well, sounds like you guys are doing as best as you can and better.
And better, that's correct. Yeah, there's never, we're never satisfied, right? One of our mottos is to astonish customers, and we continue to do that every day. And again, so the investments that we're making, the engagement we have on the products we're offering.
Good. Well, on that note, let's end it there for now.
It's been a pleasure
Wade,
speaking
it's been
with
too
you this
long since I
afternoon.
saw you
It
up
has.
there.
You gotta come out and visit us
I'm
again.
to come visit. Yeah, me and
You
Brent
have to get out and
will
visit us.
I'll plan a trip up to see you.
That sounds
Well,
good.
very good.
Thank you.
Well, thanks to Wade, and we'll take a short break and be back for one more interview. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Steve Smith, editor of PHC News Magazine, and we are live at the ASPE convention doing a series of interviews for PHCPPros. And our last guest for today is James Gagnon. He's the Western Regional Sales Manager for Stiebel Eltron. James, welcome.
Nice
Thanks
to meet
for coming.
you. Thank you.
Listen,
Thanks for
I think
having
it's pretty safe that people watching this are going to know what Stiebel Eltron is, if only because you're closing in on 100 years in business. Tell us a little bit more about Stiebel Eltron and what it is that you do. I guess, what is you specialize in?
Sure. So, thanks for having me.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Founded in 1924, Stiebel Eltron is an electric water heating and electric heating company with manufacturing plants worldwide. With a global headquarters in Holzminden, Germany, nearly all products that we sell in the Americas are made in Germany. As we are still we're privately held by Frank and Ulrich Stiebel, and as we are still privately held by those sons of the company founder, we have a very long-term perspective and can focus on engineering excellence over maximizing quarterly profits.
You're not worried about the next quarterly sales forecast or profit and P&L.
We do not have to focus in so much on that.
That's good.
We got the big long term on mind, and we really, really want to just keep making the best electric tankless water heaters and other heating products we can. So with a storied history of innovation, we are intimately connected and concerned with the global climate crisis. And we've been all in on all things electric for a very long time. This is especially true as we're seeing an electrification wave grow. Electrification is the process of replacing technologies that use fossil fuels such as coal, oil, and natural gas with technologies that use electricity. And especially as more and more of electricity that we use in our day-to-day lives comes from renewable sources such as solar, PV, and wind.
Right. So, you've been doing electrification since before electrification was cool, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, you have a very long history in advancing water technology. I know you got an example of one of your latest breakthroughs here. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about this?
Sure do. That's one of our electric tankless water heaters. We're starting to see more and more demand for electric tankless and other electric water heating solutions. This electrification wave, you got state and local governments mandating, sometimes a prohibition of gas lines new going in, or incentivizing strongly electric tankless water heaters, like our new direct coil DHC trend, DHCE trend, and DHCE plus. So electric tankless water heating, like with our DHC direct coil units, there's a lot of features and benefits overall. You've got a lot of space saving. You have the fact that electric tankless water heaters can provide endless hot water. There's no recovery time when water comes in and just comes out hot. You also don't have to worry about venting or gas lines, and they're 20% more energy efficient than an electric tank type water heater. These new DHC and DHCE direct coil units are expanded versions of the rock-solid heat exchanger and heating element technology that we've been using in our Mini and Mini E in the United States for over 12 years. And we've been doing technologies just like this in Europe for even longer. Our Mini and Mini E units have a failure rate of under 0.5%, and we believe that to be the lowest in the industry. Direct coil technology features a self-cleaning element with high limescale resistance, fast heat up, and superior response to fluctuations in pressure. All Stiebel Eltron electric tankless water heaters are essentially immune to dry firing, as they have smart flow sensor or flow switch technology, but we've gone above and beyond with the new direct coil units, as there is even an air bubble detection within the computer board, so as to stop the element from heating if there is a gap in water coming across. Furthermore, all of our electric tankless water heaters, be they 2 kilowatts like the smallest of Mini, all the way through to the strongest of 3-phase, have manually resettable safety thermal cutout technology. all of our direct coil units, the DHC Trend, E-Trend, and E+, are thermostatically controlled, and all of them have various types of tamper-proofing. The DHC Trend, without any screen or dial, is naturally tamper-proof. Adjustment of the temperature would be on the inside. Our DHC E-Trend and E+, have a digital display interface, but through the buttons in the interface, you can lock the screen entirely or do a max temp parameter set point so that you couldn't turn the knob beyond what you wanted the maximum temperature to be. Also, our DHC E Plus is the only point of use unit with our Stiebel Eltron exclusive advanced flow control technology.
This here.
Yeah, that's a flow operated motor valve. What that would allow for all of our DHC E Plus and Tempera Plus units to do would that it would always deliver the proper output temperature even in times of excess demand. It would sacrifice some flow rate in order to maintain temperature. Furthermore, we believe so strongly in our direct coil technology that we've given all of our direct coil units a massive 10/3 year warranty.
Okay, very good. So, anything else that you want to pin, as long as we have this in our hands, is there anything else to walk through? I mean, you've done a great job, but is there any one other element to maybe point out here that we can see on camera?
It's a really beefy direct coil element within. It's nickel chrome material,
Yes.
but thicker, bigger, and I'd like to think is far more reliable than some of the competition out there.
All right, good. Now, one other thing that Stiebel Eltron has been doing, I guess before it was cool, was heat pumps. Now, heat pumps aren't, certainly a new product, but they certainly have been gaining a lot of headlines lately.
Oh, yes.
Due to electrification. Tell us a little bit more about heat pumps and Stiebel Eltron.
Sure thing. We've been making heat pumps since the energy crises of the 1970s. For the US market, we've been making the Accelera heat pump water heater for just over 10 years. Our heat pump water heaters are German engineered to rely upon the heat pump system rather than a backup resistance element. They are very well insulated, have a wraparound condenser, they have a maintenance-free electronic anode, and a small backup resistance element.
Okay.
Beyond just heat pump water heating though, later this year, we're introducing the new WPL 15 and WPL 25 A2W premium cold climate air source heat pump water heaters.
Okay. Later this year.
Later this year.
Okay.
Yeah, should be ready for sale, available in stock, end of this year or the very beginning of next.
Okay.
These air-to-water heat pumps sit outside and provide heating, cooling, and domestic hot water to a residence or business. It's a compact monoblock design using super efficient inverter technology, and it uses waste heat from the inverter to further boost its coefficient of performance. In fact, the WPL has a best-in-class cold climate COP, or coefficient of performance, of 2.77, which is tested at an outdoor air temperature of 5 Fahrenheit. The WPL units can work at down and towards -5 degrees Fahrenheit. Even at low outside temps, it can deliver water at a piping hot 149 degrees Fahrenheit. For smaller residential systems, the WPL is ideally paired with a HSBC 300 integral tank. This compact unit has a 270-liter domestic hot water storage, while also it has the buffer tank for hydronic heating or heating in general, as well as controls to run the entire heat pump system.
Very good. Now, one, I guess, newer product that I think you told me before we hit live, it was introduced 4 years or so ago for more of the commercial industrial market, is the 3-phase C-Series. So how's that introduction been going?
It's going great. There's a lot of opportunity for growth in the commercial and industrial water heating sectors. We're seeing it even more now with the electrification moves. So with our C-Series, our German engineering we've brought to these 3-phase C-Series units, they're built at our Stiebel Eltron manufacturing facility in Sarasota, Florida, with all welding, machining, assembly, and testing done there in Florida. These C-Series units really are the best of both worlds. They're made in USA with 316L stainless steel heat exchangers, but they're coupled with very reliable and safety-conscious German engineering, especially with regards to the surface-mounted, manually resettable safety thermal cutouts, the multiple layers of dry fire protection, and the closed-loop thermostat technology. We're seeing a lot of business in a variety of industries right now. We see, the usual suspects of food service and hospitality, but as we see with the electrification, there's a lot of aging infrastructure in this country. And as electrification goes, these C-Series units are between 12 and 144 kW in various three-phase voltages. At 144 kW, that's the equivalent of a 499K BTU heating equivalent. That's a real boiler. So we're going to see real boiler replacement.
Right.
And also we see these three-phase water heating opportunities in various breweries, food manufacturing, product manufacturing, and also in the cannabis industry. It's been very exciting and rewarding for us to make more product in the United States and throw our German engineering at a very solid base product that we acquired 4 years ago.
Great to hear. Anything else new?
Yes. We are also introducing the Ultra Hot Plus and Ultra Hot Premium instant water heater dispensers. For us, it's something new from an old, long-standing tradition, as Stiebel Eltron's very first products were heating elements. We've also been manufacturing the heating elements for various coffee makers and espresso machines throughout Europe, and I think also the rest of the world, for a long time. So, with the new ultra hot units, super hot water is available on demand without waiting for cooking, for cleaning, or especially for hot beverages or soups. As a tea enthusiast myself, I love having ready-to-go hot water to just even top off my existing tea without having to wait for the kettle. The ultra-hot units can be used as replacements for an existing hot water instant hot dispenser, or they can be used for a new install. Both the ultra-hot plus and ultra-hot premium make for an easy space-saving under-the-sink installation, and both of them come with a standard 3-prong 120-volt plug. The plus unit is more of like a light residential style at a 750 watt element, while the ultra hot premium has a stronger 1,400 watt element. Both units also have a real unique and exclusive patented system that automatically senses and sets the highest temperature for any altitude. As you know, at different altitudes, different water heaters and boiling points create different conditions. Also, we're very confident that our German-made stainless steel tank will outlast that of the competition.
Very good. Well, James, you've rattled off quite a lot of things here. What else can we expect, our readers can expect from Stiebel Eltron? And, well, there's not much of this year left, but how about 2023?
Sure. We plan to continue the company philosophy that has always been consistent, that we have careful, competent engineering on reliable, efficient products. A focus on innovation plus careful development ensures the products are on the cutting edge of the technology, while also they're built to last. German engineering and German manufacturing, that reputation precedes itself.
Absolutely.
We look forward to the ongoing and further education of our rep team, various reps across both this country and Canada, as well as in Latin America. We look forward to also doing lunch and learns, be they back in person or, virtual if need be, with engineers and contractors. And we can't wait to further explain the benefits and features of especially the WPL air-to-water heat pump and the Ultra Hot during the coming year. We also very much intend on continuing to be a part of the solution in the moves towards electrification and away from climate crisis.
I was just going to say, it's good to hear a century-old company can still be cool with all this electrification and carbon cutting emissions carbon cutting. What am I saying? Emissions cutting.
Yes.
Yes. It's good to hear.
It's
Great.
not all red tape. There's
No,
a lot of,
You're getting it done.
Yeah, we're helping get it done.
Perfect. Thanks again, James.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, that'll wrap up our latest edition of PHCP Pros live at ASPE. I believe we're going to be back for AHR next year, so we'll see you then.
It is vital to combine print and digital when planning your 2022 marketing needs. The data doesn't lie. 84% of PHCP Pros readers prefer a print edition. 75% of PHCP Pros readers spend 30 to 60 minutes reading their print editions. Ad recall for print news brands has increased by an impressive 67% between 2010 and 2020. 82% trust print ads when making a purchasing decision. According to a customer satisfaction survey conducted by Marketing Sherpa, 82% of respondents trust print ads when making a purchasing decision. The same logic applies when it comes to making a powerful impression for your business. Begin building a meaningful and lasting connection with your customers through thoughtful, printed materials. Print and digital could and should work together in order to enhance the customer experiences and brand engagement. In fact, Canon's USA Print for Action survey found that 7 in 10 Americans surveyed rely on a mix of print and digital platforms related to all